性保護 sacrifice 犧牲 sacrificial of course the adjective about that kind of protection. What that means is that iron to attach to a more reactive metal so that the metal will eventually react with air and water. Again, try to spell this word. As later on in redox reaction, we will know. We need to know this word again. So I explain one daily life example to you about sacrificial protection. So the underground water pipes, okay, are usually made up of iron. That means now this is the ground, okay, and the underground water pipes, something like this one, a hollow tube with water, and of course the pipe will have water, okay, and oxygen, dissolved oxygen in water. And after some time, the water pipe may rust, okay. So how to prevent it? If the underground water pipe rusts, is rather difficult to repair because it will have leakage and eventually, of course, damage of the pipes. So how to make prevention? Okay, we try to use magnesium wire connect the outside part of the water pipe, and then we connect this magnesium with a box of magnesium here. This is magnesium with a connection here, okay, to the underground water pipe. So what will happen? The magnesium here will react to form magnesium ion rather than the iron water pipe. So of course there will be no rusting here, However, the magnesium here will diminish. That means will lose because it formed magnesium ion to protect the iron water pipe here. And it will get smaller and smaller. So how to cope with this? You'll find that on the surface of the road here, you can take it out, make it here, and then replace a new block of magnesium here for some time, after some time. And then we can protect the underground water pipe. This is what we call sacrificial protection. You get my point? So it's about electrical protection. It's usually found in cars. Okay, now we have a car body here. Okay, a car body. And of course, many are made up of iron. And now, you should know, there is a battery in the car with positive pole and negative pole, right? Not so difficult. And we connect a wire from negative pole to the car body so that a lot of electrons is applied to the iron objects. So what will happen? In order to rust, as I mentioned before, you need to have iron change to iron to iron with electron. Now, we supply a lot of electrons here. That means now we have electrons so that it can surpass the reaction, okay, from changing iron to ions. To the high reactivity, okay, aluminium is resistant to corrosion. Now, if we use the metal object like iron, of course it will rust if you don't have any prevention. How about we change the object, the materials from iron and make it to another material like your windows. So I want to let you know around 40 years, okay, before, all the windows are not made up of aluminium. They are made up of iron with paintings. However, you find that there will be some problem. If you open the window, you will scratch you will scratch the paintings on the iron. And of course it will rust. And if rusting occurs in the window, it's very dangerous. Okay? So we try to modify the materials using aluminium. Why? Why we use aluminium rather than iron? Because aluminium is resistant to corrosion. Now, I draw two diagrams here, and of course in your notes, no such diagrams. I want to show you why. Okay? So, I move to here. So, if an iron object starts to rust, so this is the iron object, and of course in contact with the oxygen and water, okay, what happens? At the very beginning, the surface of the iron will have such reaction. The iron reacts to form iron to iron, okay, and of course release electron. And after that, I let you know this is the first step, and then there will be some steps, okay, very complicated, and I just want to mention iron 2 will form iron 3, okay, together with oxygen and water. And lastly, the iron 3 will form something like this one. This is the chemical formula for rust. Rust is something like this one, which is named as hydrated iron 3 oxide. This is the name and chemical formula for rust. And why it is not good for the object? Because the rust is brittle and with many air spaces. And you'll find that this rust layer form and let the oxygen and water to pass through so that it can rust more. Okay, 1 minute count on this. That means 如果嗰個生鏽嘅情況繼續出現，你面嗰陣鏽蝕咗，因為面嗰陣鏽蝕嘅嘢咧係一啲含水嘅晶體啦 ，iron 3 hydrated salt、hydrated oxide， 嗰啲氧氣同水咧會穿過嗰個生鏽嘅面咧，繼續將鐵裡面腐蝕嘅，一路食到成嚿嘢生晒鏽為止。所以如果你有機會接觸到啲生鏽嘅嘢咧，你揾隻手捏下佢或者揩下佢咧，佢碎嘅嗰啲鐵鏽甩出嚟。點解咧？裏面有空氣有空間，所以啲水同埋氧氣不斷咁侵蝕嗰嚿鐵。所以即係之前我講過，頭先我講過啦，我話以前啲窗揾鐵做，揾啲漆油即係油住佢，啲教啊揾啲潤滑油，但係你總會有一刻咧，啲漆油會刮爛，跟住啲油啲潤滑油會乾咗，咁跟住佢就會生鏽。你而家去呢啲舊區咧，嗰啲唐樓都仲可能見到啲鐵做嘅窗嘅。好啦 ，but now we choose another material. That material is actually aluminium. For aluminium, again, at the very beginning, it is a more reactive metal, right? Aluminium is more reactive than iron. Of course, if there is oxygen and water here, again, it will corrode, not rust, okay? Remember, rust only for iron, but corrode for all metals. Now, there will be a layer of aluminium oxide form. However, this oxide is impermeable to oxygen and water. That means if we form a layer of oxide here, this one, oxygen and water, cannot pass through the oxide layer. And of course, the inner layer of aluminium will not corrode. 如果你用鋁嘅話，會點呢？冇錯，佢比起鐵更加 reactive， 所以佢就會做反應啦，產生咗 oxide layer 喺面。你而家面嗰陣都係 oxide layer 嘅個鋁窗。但係如果學校唔好咁做，屋企你問準屋企人試下揾個螺絲批撬開面嗰陣 oxide layer， 即係掛下佢，跟住你會見到佢擰身咗嘅。但係隔一段時間佢又會啞色咗，點解啊？佢好快接觸到空氣嘅氧同埋水，咁佢就會變咗做一個 oxide layer。但係呢個 oxide layer 有個地方同鐵鏽唔同嘅，就係氧氣同水穿唔過。 咁所以佢就可以保護內層嘅 aluminium，避免佢繼續 corrode 落去。So this is another solution, okay, to actually not prevent the rusting of iron. We just change the material we use, okay, in order to prevent rusting of iron. You get my point? But of course, not all objects can be replaced by aluminium. Okay, of course, cost is a factor we consider. 嗰個成本貴嘅，如果你用鋁嘅話。So that part I explained already to form oxide layer. So we move on to next page.